on this episode of Potages.
Daigo becomes Dai went.
No. Now you already killed it. You killed it.
Daigo becomes go and die?
I'm going to punch you.
I need your password. You can use mine to get on the internet.
Potages! Welcome to Potages episode T6.0, Time to Say Good Try.
Digimon Adventure Try Chapter 6, Our Future.
Recorded May 5th and Ash in the Future, 2018.
Potages is your critically nostalgic analytical tour through the resurrected semi-animated shell of the Digimon anime. I'm Jeffrey Ruberg, and I'm joined by Ashley McDonald.
Hey, Jeff, if you have kids in the future, I'll watch them because I'm Gabumon.
Also, because we've been dating for like 11 years, so...
No, it's definitely just because I'm Gabumon.
Also, this is the first time that we are recording a main episode with Ashley and I looking at each other, so it's kind of...
Staring at each other's eyes.
We're on a romantic trip to Lake Tahoe / Ashley's hockey tournament. And in Israel, Ash Softman...
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that was an introduction thing. I thought you were still explaining... good morning. It's 5:30 a.m.
Ohio gozaimasu.
A bright new sunny day.
It's still dark out.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
That one's Andrew. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, that's Andrew. I think we're all lost. So, anyway, speaking of being lost, this week we're looking at the last Try film, so here's a quick recap.
The kids decide to leave Taichi and Daigo in a ditch because they desperately need to go back to the human world ASAP to take a really long lunch break while Yamato yearns for Taichi. Hikari starts to feel guilty for causing the apocalypse. It's fine. But then gets a fever instead of a character arc.
The kids try to fight the looming threat of an animation staff obsessed with Ordinemon's butt. Hackmon reveals that he's repeating everyone's favorite Try film, and Daigo shows Taichi his anime figure collection.
Daigo sacrifices himself to save Taichi and life-size cardboard cutouts of the O2 kids. Takeru wakes up Hikari from her mid-movie nap, and Mako lures the apocalyptic butt to the ocean.
Koshiro finds out that Digimon's data was housed in Ordinemon's butt the whole time. The kids manage to stop the reboot of the real world by laser beaming memories from her butt into their Digimon.
Taichi somehow manages to generate enough force from running to push Mako and Agumon out of the way of Ordinemon. Red Bull gives Omegamon wings. We never see Joe's girlfriend or Maki. And Taichi says, "Hey Mako, if we, never talk again, we'll always be friends." Heart emoji.
Oh, Joe's girlfriend was Maki.
Oh, shit.
We figured it out.
No, don't do that.
This is our general discussion segment. Let's start off with our one-word reaction. I'll launch us off. I'll go with girlfriend, because I'm so happy that Maki is now Joe's girlfriend, canonically.
No.
What?
Ashley, what's your one-word reaction?
What did I say in the flashcast?
Too bad. The memory's gone.
The memory's gone.
You can't reboot it.
Bad.
Remember when we reviewed Chapter 1? I recently re-listened to our old episodes to see what we talked about. We had all these thoughts that Tara was going to talk about memories, and they did eventually do the reboot, but we thought there'd be stuff with the picture frame, remember?
Oh yeah, that picture frame is very underused as a meaningful anything.
Yeah. So what was your reaction?
Bad.
That's there's not much that you need to elaborate there. I guess that's pretty self-explanatory.
Let me tell you that every lingering shot in this movie is held for a solid second or two too long, so we could cut out half the movie.
Yeah, I mean...
And it would be the same movie.
You could actually just watch it at 2x and it would feel like a normal anime.
I know.
No.
That is how I feel.
That's how it would feel in the pans and single shots that don't move or whatever, that aren't actually animated. Asher, what's your one-word reaction?
My one-word reaction is good.
Whoa!
Oh, Asher, why do you do this to me?
This is the one movie I felt engaged. Are you going to let me talk?
No, because you forget yourself. You don't know what you're talking. Past you and current you don't agree.
I was engaged the whole time. I do agree with you about every second or every shot being held a second too long. But I think that's been a problem throughout the entire series.
It is. It really has.
It totally has, but I feel like it felt much more frustrating this time around.
Yes. Especially since there's apparently a need in every single, intense moment that we have to pan to everybody's face. They're making the same face, but slightly different. And I'm like, I don't care. There's 8 of them. I get it. They're all making a,
the same
grunting, the sad face.
You can't tell what they're actually going for, what it's actually supposed to mean, and the lingering shots have always been a problem. And I feel like this is the movie where they're the most dissonant from what the script is saying of urgency.
Yes,
but I don't want to discredit Ash's if Ash's memory has forgotten things. I think it's a fair thing. It's been so long since these movies have come out. We've watched them right when they come out. It's not like we've been watching them in a weird order, a weird time frame, or anything. That's the mindset that they should be expecting people to be in. They shouldn't have to rewatch the movies recently to appreciate them. So yeah.
Also, I would absolutely refuse to watch all the movies again.
Jeffrey!
I was literally about to say, someday I want us to rewatch the movies.
No.
Would you rather rewatch the Hobbit movies?
I would absolutely rather rewatch the Hobbit movies. God.
We'll convince Ash off air.
No.
Or listeners,
we
convince
won't.
Ash. Listeners, send your heartfelt messages.
Ashley doesn't care
First
about
of all,
listeners.
I don't get listener feedback. No.
Okay, Andrew, what's your one word? It's concise. Mine is pretty similar. It's hollow. I feel like is kind of the hollow reaction of. I just feel like this movie, there's not much that I look back on. I'm like, oh yeah, that thing was amazing. There are a couple things.
No, because
yeah,
it's not.
I enjoyed it, but it still makes no sense.
Oh, yeah. I think the difference in general between me and the three of you is that I never have any expectations, especially not for Try.
There was something you said.
Because I didn't want anything. There was no question I thought was definitely going to be answered. I didn't expect anything to be remotely good. But then watching it, I was like, oh, I actually am interested in what's happening this time around.
In what part that's happening? No.
Whatever. So we disagree on that. We usually do.
The reason I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because I had such high expectations. It's more I was preparing myself to be I think the trap we could all easily fall into is that there are so many plot-based things you want resolutions to. I think it's easy to fall into how are they going to resolve all these loose threads? And I explicitly tried to avoid that. I was I'm not focused on those things. I want interesting character moments and resolution to character arcs. And I feel like we barely got anything on that front is why I feel more disappointed.
Oh yeah. See, I didn't expect that.
And I guess the other angle of expectation is that something you said concisely in the last when we reviewed chapter 5 was you're I gave up on Try being good, but I hadn't yet given up on it being coherent. And
so you're wrong, Asher.
But I guess now he's given up on it being coherent, and now
now you're just everything's fine.
Yeah,
who cares?
This
fight with Ordinemon's butt is fun, apparently, which it's not.
No, I was not interested in all the shots of Ordinemon's butt. Why does it have boobs?
I mean, that too.
Girl.
Same reason.
I just want to say if that distortion stays in the podcast, that'd be great. There was some weird Skype distortion while you were emphasized you're talking about the butt, Ordinemon's butt. The distortion comes from the butt.
Wait, did they really say Ordinemon?
Yeah, because that's how it's spelled in Japanese. Yeah, because Ordine. I like that because I think it sounds. I mean, the word ordine. I'm not sure how you're supposed to pronounce it because it comes from Latin for order, which
ordain. Is it ordain?
Yeah, ordain is a similar cognate, but it's a conjugation of I think ordo. Anyway, but it doesn't nothing thematically about really has much to do with order. I feel, but I think ordine sounds a bit like DNA and does have the DNA strands kind of thing. That's a bit of a stretch, but.
Sounds like ordinary. Also, how does
I wouldn't be surprised.
Everything to do with order? It's Licky Jedi with chaos and
that's the
homeostasis with
balance
and harmony.
That's another topic that I find frustrating. I feel like there's not a good symmetry in those two, like the structure that's been set up of, okay, there's homeostasis on one side and Yggdrasil on the other side and Libra/Meikumon in the middle. The two sides being homeostasis and Yggdrasil. Homeostasis is all about stasis and order and like things stability and whatever. But Yggdrasil is not about chaos. He doesn't really talk about chaos. He wants to like rule over the human world. He's like, humans are bad. I want to destroy humans.
But Licky Jedi's, all of his rants are like,
I don't think his rants are particularly pro-chaos. I think they were pro-humans being terrible and Digimon being forever.
Digimons are forever. He did give us that line, didn't he?
And I feel like in that, like even in that context, like Meikumon is not like order. It's, I don't know. I guess it's against order. It's destroying order.
Yeah.
It's liberating us from the order.
No. Meikumon was the storage for memory. So it's like, okay, we've got big sweeping gestures of chaos or whatever, like evil on the one side and stasis, peace, order on the other. But rather than in the middle, a different point is the relationships we have with one another. It's like the points of a triangle rather than a spectrum.
Points of a triangle.
Yes. I said that purposely.
You chose your words purposefully?
How dare you?
I'm the only one who did not react.
I hate homeostasis and Licky Jedi and Yggdrasil.
Yeah. They all suck. Although, if I had to choose one villain just to have in this season, I would have gone with Licky Jedi as Ken, I guess, because Licky Jedi as Ken did not have the Licky connotation, and at least he was enjoying himself. Like, what was up with homeostasis? I still don't know what they wanted.
I mean, there was no homeostasis was not directly in this movie. I guess you could say that in the previous movies when Hikari has been possessed or almost possessed or whatever, homeostasis kind of had a presence there. In this movie, it was just Hackmon speaking 90% on behalf of homeostasis, and then occasionally being like, I disagree on this point, and then occasionally doing stuff and then being like, is this the will of homeostasis? Are you helping the kids? Are you hurting the kids? The kids aren't reacting, but how do they know you're helping?
They got Gatomon back, so he was helping.
He was. Like, once that scene finished, it was clear what happened.
Yes.
But like during the scene, there were like 30 seconds where it was unclear, and the kids just didn't move because moving
they just stare at stuff, and then you see all 8 of them staring at it.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Precure team kind of ate the budget again.
I don't even want to get into the murky waters of speculating about budget.
I'm joking.
But no, I know. And some people get that it's jokes, some people don't. And it's because I don't think it all just comes down to budget. I think it's just
a bad director.
I don't know. I don't want to say the director is bad, but it's bad direction. Yeah. And
bad direction, yeah.
And it's just so, and it's been a problem with Try from the beginning. But I feel like this one felt so much more plotting, like I said before, because of the contrast with the urgent tone, but also because like there was lots of reused footage. And I feel like never was really that much of a thing before, reused footage. Like there was like flashbacks to episode 1 of Try, chapter 1 of Try, with the like good.
Well, there's less flashbacks in the movie version, I would assume.
Oh no! When I say flashback, I think you're talking about something else. There's the flashbacks to chapter 1 when like Ty's waking up and Hikari's waking him up or whatever, and the Ferris wheel and stuff. I think what you're referring to is the rewinds at the beginning of the next episode. Which
you mean the recap?
It's not a recap. It's just rewinding the clock an extra minute or two.
It's just like, here's what happened at the end of the last one.
Yeah. It's really just like rewinding the playhead a little bit, I think. And I think that just happens because the structure of splitting into 5 episodes means is it needs to be quote unquote padded more for that. And so yeah, that's something that would definitely be less prominent in the movie. But I think actually both times we watched it, we tried to skip through those.
I skipped through everything. I was like, Digivolutions, don't care. Opening song, definitely don't care. Definitely don't need this recap. The last minute and a half of what happened that I just saw. I
still don't want to call it recap. It's not like it's not trying to recap anything.
Yeah, no, I would go 3 minutes into each episode and be like, yeah, that's right.
I just want to make it clear, like, recap
is you guys.
Oh yeah, I guess there's a police car. We're evading the Tahoe Popo. But it's a common thing in shonen anime, like Bleach and One Piece, things that are meant to like run forever, to pad an extra couple minutes by having you know, like,
But see, if we cut out
elaborate
all
recap.
the extra seconds and those things, you need 3 episodes.
Yeah. But in addition to the bad pacing, like there was a lengthy sequences of the movie where they were fighting as champions, and it was just like after those sequences, I think Mimi said like,
Yeah,
they
Mimi was like, they can't go to Ultimate.
and I was like, but I was like screaming at the TV, literally screaming at the TV, like, why are you fighting as champions? And then they were like, oh, they can't go to Ultimate. And I'm like, great writing there. Like, it shouldn't be like a question you have throughout the scene, and then you're like, oh, that's why.
Honestly, it was still very confusing to me watching it this time. Like, they digivolve to Ultimate and then de-digivolve, but that fight never actually ends. They just de-digivolve and then digivolve back again. And I'm like, what?
No. There was a pause in between where they ate.
There's a couple different, because I don't know if you're talking about Ultimate as the dub term or Ultimate as a Japanese term. And I wasn't even sure when they said that. I wasn't listening to Japanese, so I forget what they actually said in Japanese. But like the subtitles could have been referring to either one. Because they were stuck as champions. So they may have been referring to Ultimate, the layer above champion, or they may have meant 2 levels above champion. I don't know.
Just say layer.
Doesn't really matter.
Serial experiments, layer 1. Sorry.
They didn't do any fighting as what we call the ultimate level, except for where Garurumon.
Yeah, where Garurumon was
true.
fighting.
There was one sequence, I think, where they were all like all ultimates together and then or Digimon like rushed them as a group or something.
I think they were megas.
No.
I think they turned into megas right after that, but it was all quick. I think that sequence was quick, and then they reverted. Then they got random Konbini food in the middle of the evacuated town. Like
they break into a Konbini. That's canonical.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Ashley and I discussed that while we were watching. We were like, they probably broke into Miyako's abandoned Konbini. It's been abandoned for months because their family's dead. And
is she even real? I mean, it's just they break into their Konbini. They totally broke into a Konbini, y'all.
It's okay. It was for a good cause.
Yeah, it's fine.
Odaiba's just being destroyed again. Just an average day in Odaiba.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'd think they would stop rebuilding it.
You think that nobody would come back even if they did build it.
just sink it into the sea.
No, it's just like
it's not a real island.
Oh wait, wasn't there a point when they're fighting I forgot. I noticed this when we watched it the first time, and I forgot to look for it the second time.
What?
But there was a point. Maybe it's just a street, but I thought there was a point where like Digimon flies and it's like on a runway, and I was like, are they back at the airport?
I think it's just implied to be a street in
Yeah, I
the
guess
water.
it's just a street.
I do remember that scene that you were talking about.
Yeah. The first time I was like, oh, it's a runway. The second time I noticed that like the buildings. Okay, we complain about the animation and the direction and everything about Try all the time, so I do want to give it credit this one time. There was actually some well-used CGI in the backgrounds. Well-used because it wasn't very noticeable. Like all the buildings, there are lots of dynamic shots while Digimon's flying through and attacking. There are CGI buildings. I mean, buildings are probably one of the easiest things to CGI because they're not living, breathing things, but it actually worked pretty well. Mostly because everything was super dark and impossible to see.
Yep.
Which is another complaint I had. There's so many scenes that Ashley and I first watched it like in the morning on our TV, and it was like the 02 kids just being silhouettes. We couldn't see anything.
Yeah, it was just like they're just staring at something.
I wasn't sure if there was anything visible. Like I thought, like, are we just supposed to hear from the dialogue?
I mean, okay, even seeing their silhouettes, watching it the second time, I was like, these are such lazy silhouettes.
Oh my god,
my
having
goodness.
silhouettes is like, oh my.
Well, maybe they were beat up that badly.
They just became cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Like when I heard people talk, because we saw it that one time, and then I heard people discussing the movie, and they were referring to them as silhouettes, and I was like, okay, that's just shorthand. Like what they mean is that they drew them, and it's really, really dark, and there's lots of shadow.
No, they're literally silhouettes.
It's literally just character outlines.
You just described half the movie.
I guess that's true.
So
Minus the silhouette part.
And yeah.
I can't believe this, Try. How dare you? How dare you?
But I think the big elephant in the room is that this is or is not the end of Try.
Or it's not. Daemon's coming. Or maybe Diaboromon? I don't know.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about the whole this might or may not be the end, but I enjoy how trollish that
I know. I was like, Licky Jedi, you got in the ultimate troll in the end there, didn't you? Good old Licky Jedi.
Because, like, it even could have been simpler. It could have been Daemon or Dagomon. You know, like, it could have been just the ones that are stuck in the Dark Ocean or something that we know that everyone agrees is in a lingering state. But he also threw in Diaboromon, which no one thought of as being in, like, a, like, potentially up in the air state. So it's just like...
What a troll.
He's just like, I could do anything. I could bring anyone back. Like, and...
Wait, anybody?
Myotismon again.
Yeah.
Well, we sort of got a Myotismon in the play.
That was probably, I think, the worst part of the play. Just like have a weird Myotismon form of something. I don't even remember that part of it very well.
I kind of remember.
I remember like Existix. I remember like there was a design analysis.
Still the best part of Try, that stage play.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, still the best like thoughtful character writing with consequences and like actual like impact to what it was exploring.
Yes. I'm so mad that Hikari had the same problem that she always has in this movie again. I was like, Hikari, we need to get past this.
Being a younger sibling.
Yeah, being a younger sibling who gets possessed sometimes.
I feel like she barely had an arc in this movie. Like,
There wasn't really an arc. I mean, I guess the arc concludes with, hey, Taichi, you're a jerk. I told you not to kill this thing, and you're like, you can hate me forever, but I'm going to stand by you, Taichi. And I'm like, no.
no, that was just
That's not how I interpreted that.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it was written horribly. Maybe I misunderstood or
No, I
misinterpreted things.
just watched it, and that is definitely how I understood it.
Ash, how did you interpret it?
I mean, I was hoping they wouldn't actually kill Meikumon, so my take is a little outdated by the movie itself, but
So you're wrong. But go on.
yeah, but like the fact that she decided to fight with him meant that her influence would do everything she could to prevent Meikumon from actually dying.
I mean, yes, that is how I wanted it to be, but then she blatantly attacks Meikumon.
Yeah, that's...
Wait, yeah, I mean, this is Digimon. You have to fight your friends, but
That's what I find so frustrating about that whole discussion on any level, because it's like so not clear if they know if they're killing or not. Like they're just attacking, like all this like philosophical, like do we want to kill her or whatnot? Like, do you know if you can or can't, or like what are you? Is the action that you're doing, what consequences does that have? Like, we have no idea what people are thinking, what consequences their actions could possibly have, what consequences they think their actions have. It's all just like stuff happens, and then you're told what the consequence of it was, or you're not told. You're just like not shown Meikumon, and so you're like, I guess she died.
When she disappears at the end, she says thank you to Mako and then disappears. And it seemed pretty
like,
heavily implied.
Definitely deviating. Yeah.
But like,
I mean, this being Digimon, there's always the realm of possibility that it's not true, but like,
Especially if there's a sequel.
that is what they implied heavily.
I guess also like the distinction between beat up so bad that you revert back to your original form, back to like rookie or in training form, and beat so bad you disintegrate and die. Like, we so rarely see Digimon that are beat that aren't good guys who can revert. You know, like they're either good guys, and so once they get beaten down, they revert, or they're Angemon, or they're bad guys and they get defeated. So like having someone who is like a good guy and could revert back, but is then just killed outright, it's like, okay. And it's not framed tragically like Wizardmon or whatever, so it's just like, why was that attack different than the ones that just caused them to revert? Like, I mean,
yes,
could they
that's
have
why I
attacked
was
a little
like,
bit less?
I don't know
And-
why they don't think that she could possibly revert. Like, I don't really understand their mindset of, after all they've been through, why they don't think that's possible. But
it's also like, I could understand, I feel like the fifth movie at least kind of explored, like, do we need to kill her? Like, maybe this is okay if we need to. And I feel like they didn't close the book on that or conclude it or anything, and they barely even brought up that topic this movie. Like, I feel like the discussion of, like, should we actually kill Meikumon didn't come up at all until Taichi came back. They had victorious music. They digivolved into a Megamon. It was all victorious. And then Hikari was like, no, Taichi, you're wrong. And I was like, what? I thought we were being victorious now. Like, what? I don't feel like it was actually trying to
Taichi's
undermine
like,
that
I'm not wrong, but you can hate me if you think I'm wrong. It's fine.
I'll never forgive you, but I'll fight by your side.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that the mechanics are so murky, it's so hard to know if what they were actually aiming for that. All just such...
Wizardmon's presence,
writing.
definitely a disappointment.
I guess he is a ghost still. He wasn't rebooted.
I mean, it was just like, You hyped him up for that? Really? Cool. Thanks.
Nothing. Try it. Like, they didn't hype up Wizardmon.
Can't they just put him a little bit in the poster?
It was a teaser a little bit in the poster, and the fan base was like running wild with speculation about that. Hi, Popo.
Wizardmon dead?
He's definitely dead.
I think he's a ghost, I guess.
But everything was rebooted?
I mean, I guess he didn't come from the digital world originally. You could explain away that.
Oh, yeah, he's from Wizalni or whatever it's called, which is another Tamagotchi spin-off thing.
So I feel like the information in Adventure to provide credence to that theory was always super thin. It was just Wizardmon, when he shows up to Gachapon, is like, I'm from somewhere else. And then people are like, oh, he's not from the digital world, he's from Witchel. And you're like, but I guess this kind of, everything's so murky, whatever. I mean, they didn't explicitly say what happens to Digimon. They do say that. Digimon who die in the real world die for real. And then the reboot brings them back. So
Licky Genai was full. He's the only. I hate Licky Genai because he is the combination of a dumb Sword Art Online, over the top, stereotypical villain, plus your awful Twitter friend who says one-liners of philosophy and thinks that they're so deep and will save the world or whatever. He's that combination of evil, but like he also gets to say the best things. Like he gets to say the most definitive things, the most trollish things. And on some level I love him, and on the other level I viscerally hate him.
So I have a couple comments about that. I don't think most people have a Twitter friend that spouts philosophical. I think you're just subtweeting one or two people right now.
Okay, maybe.
But like,
you know who you are.
I don't think that's like a common thing everyone has. People might have like friends in real life. I think that's the more relatable experience. They have like a friend who
you know which friend you are.
We all know that one
We all
guy.
know that. Yeah, we know that one guy.
like, who thinks they're super
It's
deep.
always a guy, too.
Oh yeah.
He's definitely always a guy.
And what was the first part of?
He's a trolley over-the-top villain.
Yeah, the trolley Sword Art Online villain idea. Like Sword Art Online is the thing that comes to your mind. Also, when we were talking when we watched the episode, you called it Sao.
I did call it
Actually,
Sao.
don't call it Sao. That comes to mind because that's like the big distaste in your mouth recently, right? But like, I don't think that's like, it's not limited to Sword Art Online. And
I mean, I know it's not, but all those things are lazy, and I hate them.
yeah, I guess there are a couple particularly egregious examples in Sword Art Online of just people that are super like, to show how evil they are, they're like super rapey and like, I'm gonna use your body and blah, 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 and like,
There's the one guy who literally is Licky Genai. Like the guy after the initial arc is basically
Gunga
Licky
Online?
Genai. Huh?
Oh no, the tentacle guy.
Yeah, the tentacle guy.
Yeah, I've blocked that in my memory. But I was trying to think of it because, like, I do think there are villains that take that, like, flamboyant evilness to an interesting degree. And definitely not, like, the Sword Art Online villains, but there's a villain in ReZero, in, I think, the second half of ReZero.
Oh, God, him.
Yeah, I think...
Beetlejuice?
Yeah, is that his name? I forgot his name.
Yeah, like
Betelgeuse or something.
I mean, it's the Japanese pronunciation of Beetlejuice.
Anyway, I think he took those flamboyantly evil mannerisms to an interesting degree. It was like interesting to watch. It just like taken to it like absurd, like contorting his body in like crazy ways. Whereas evil Jenna is, you know, like, I'm so evil. Whoa! I'm like moving my head crazy. I'm being extra. That's what he's just being super extra, and I don't know.
Jeff,
that
if you play with monsters, you have to make sure that you don't become the monster yourself.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
It's so deep.
Deep.
That's another example of the
when
phenomenon.
you stare into the abyss stares back.
I wanted to fact check that because I'm like, was the original Japanese line also the Nietzsche quote, or like did they translate it into a Nietzsche quote? Or
no.
What? What's Nietzsche?
The when you stare into the abyss stares back.
Oh boy, he's an actual philosopher.
Oh my God, I'm that tired.
And
Nietzsche.
did you go to college?
No, I thought he was saying niche.
No.
Saying
What's
niche
a
wrong.
Nietzsche?
I may have been pronouncing it weirdly, but it's the evolution problem of wanting to sound smart by saying things that are pretty basic in the most convoluted way. And I feel like Hackmon is the best example. Like Licky Genai, at least, like it feels like it's in character. You know, it's like he's trying to seem the most extra. Like that comes across through I feel bad saying flamboyant because I feel like that's like I'm tying it into like queer things.
Yeah.
Which is there a better word to describe his mannerisms?
Extra.
Yeah,
Just
his extra. his extraneity.
Yes.
Is that the noun form of extra?
Yes.
Extraneity.
There you go.
But it's in character with like both his physical mannerisms and his like philosophical
Yes, his
speech.
philosophical outlook.
But Hackmon is just like Hackmon's like trying to give useful information in the most like writers like no, like
It's
just
okay. I know. I can think of a Hackmon in my life.
okay.
You know who you are.
I like how he bothers to tell the one character we never see again in the movie. That's the first thing he does.
Oh yeah, he tells
Mako's
Mako's dad. Yeah,
I don't even remember what did he say to him?
he's like, the final project is coming.
Oh,
You failed, so we're doing the thing.
yeah.
And then we never saw him again.
It's okay. We never saw Maki again either. So,
Yeah.
who exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Who?
I am glad
Whatever
that.
happened?
Wait, I was saying about Maki.
What?
So I think the structure of this movie has some interesting and unflattering parallels to Avengers Infinity War in that it feels like...
I didn't see that yet.
I'm not going to spoil a specific. It's just...
Ezra's very hype now.
But like the phases of the Marvel universe feel like... I feel like the first two phases didn't really feel like this. Like the Avengers movies that capped off those... like you have a couple individual superhero movies and then you have an Avengers movie that like combines them together. They never really felt like this. This is the first one that really feels like the end of a season. It's the season finale of the Avengers. Like everyone's come together and there's some big cliffhanger, and that's how it ends. You're like, I can't wait to find out what happens next.
Nah, it's not even a season finale. It's like the mid-season finale.
Seasons are constructed differently. This season thing is a thing I've heard a lot of people talking about. I think it's a pretty apt analogy, and I feel like Try similarly feels like this is a super, super unsatisfying finale for Adventure the series, even for Try as a series. But if it's the like the end of Try Part 1 or like Try before leading to something else.
26 more episodes coming.
I thought you were going to say
3 more years.
I thought you were going to say 26 more tries,
no.
26 times this.
I'm not crazy.
But if it's going to continue in some form, I think it's a lot more appetable. Is that the word? It's more appetizing to me if it's like
Appetable.
But anyway, that's just to explain like with the Infinity War analogy that like they're similar in that way, but in every other way, Infinity War is like a million times more satisfying. I think, like in the way that like Try has some interesting ideas, but like fails in execution all over the place. I think Infinity War just like Ashley is a prime example of this. You have no interest in Infinity War because it doesn't really explore interesting ideas. It's just fun action flick.
Yeah,
but it's executed so like the minutia of the detail, the character interactions, the writing. It's all executed on such a perfect level that you're like, this is a really, really well done movie. It has nothing of interest to someone like Ashley, but whereas Try has like some interesting ideas and terrible execution. But the other parallel is that the Infinity War trailers show a character that never appears in the movie.
that's just mean.
Like they've gotten to this level of like avoiding
lies.
spoilers. Where, like they don't just like there's some things that are basically just like advanced video editing. Like there's we can talk about. I'm going to spoilers for Thor Ragnarok, but you probably have seen. If you've seen trailers for Infinity War, you've probably seen Thor in this state. Like in Thor Ragnarok, he loses an eye, and there are trailers for Infinity War before Thor Ragnarok that showed him with that eye, and then after Thor Ragnarok, they took his eye out. So like they do all these things to like play around and not spoil you in the trailers. And one of them is to have a character in the trailers for Infinity War that doesn't actually show up. I
don't like it.
Try Chapter 6, the dub release in September.
Yes.
There's if you go to the Fathom Events page, it lists all the characters that are in the movie.
Yeah.
And it lists Maki. And like Maki's not in this movie.
Maki was not in this movie. No.
Yes, she was.
There was a flashback where they showed her for like a second.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember where. I just remember noting like, I guess you're technically in
Daigo
here.
explaining, and then he's like, I don't even know if she's dead now, though. It was like the end of that conversation.
I guess.
They might have shown like one single screen of her.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like a still shot.
Yeah, it was like a still shot of the flashback of her with Tapirmon. Oh no, she does have more in that flashback because it goes back, like he's explaining how she wanted the reboot to happen so that she could get her partner back. So it shows all of that flashback, like when they met and her going crazy. And then it concludes with him being like, I don't even know if she's alive or dead though.
She's probably Dagamon's bride or something.
Oh God.
I mean, that's what the next tries.
That would be. You know, if the next series, season, whatever, involves like Maki having fused with Dagomon to become the like demon queen versus Daemon, who is infected by Yggdrasil, like sure.
That'd be fun.
Sure.
Maybe. I know, right? Hire us, damn. The one thing that I liked about this movie was that Daigo dies. I was like, you finally had the balls to kill a human.
Okay, I agree with you. I really enjoyed that moment. I'm hesitant to read too much into his death being 100% actual death.
I mean, that's true.
Oh no, he's super dead.
But like we don't have a track record to go based.
What happens to humans who die in the digital world? We don't know. We don't know.
Digital world.
They do
butterflies.
Oh yeah, I guess we actually do. Oikawa died in the digital world.
Oh yeah.
They become butterflies.
Okay, he's a pretty butterfly somewhere. I like it.
No, he's not, because he's been rebooted.
Hey, what happens to humans in the digital world after it's been... But wait, the butterflies are in the epilogue.
Yeah, he died after the reboot.
No, Oikawa.
What?
Oh, Oikawa.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I guess he's gone.
He's gone.
No, but the butterflies... What if those just random butterflies in the epilogue?
He's alive again, actually. That's what the second try is going to be about, you guys. Oh, snap.
But does that mean he has to die again?
Yeah, and it's just going to go in an infinite loop.
Wait, if you reboot a human, do they become a child again?
Yes.
Yes.
None of the mechanics of the reboot make sense. Like, I think we just accepted a lot of... And so there are questions raised about reboot in this movie, about like rebooting the real world's digital systems, and they just are like, it's going to be catastrophic. And I'm like, I didn't buy that at first, but actually explained it. Like, the way you were thinking of it was that like... Yeah. It would actually just like erase all digital progress, like not just records, but like no digital things would work anymore.
Yeah, like it would go back to version 1.0 is how I thought of it.
Not just like 1.0 of all digital tech.
Yeah,
they were implying. Yeah,
and I like that. Like that makes sense. Like that would be super catastrophic. That wouldn't just be like. I don't think they did a good job explaining that. I was just like, anyway, but
wait, I thought it would reboot the entire world, as in like
that's what I thought.
It was going back into the quantum sea.
No. The quantum sea. No, this was confusing in chapter 3 as well. The quantum sea was what would happen if they didn't reboot. Like if Ordinmon kept causing chaos, the quantum sea would, I guess, be like. I guess homeostasis is like the digital world's keeping system to keep everything in stability, but the quantum sea is like an even more natural layer of like what would happen to the world if it just chaos. Like once it became too chaotic, then the quantum sea would come in and replace it or something, I guess. But
Jeff just eye rolled really hard.
I didn't mean to eye roll. Oh no, the reboot mechanics, we've gotten used to them. And now we're like thinking about the second layer of reboot not making sense or whatever. But like the first layer of reboot doesn't make sense. Like that still never made sense. The fact that like they're reborn at File Island when like that's not where the Digimon originated. The fact that Alphamon. Okay, I think maybe the fact that Alphamon and Jesmon retain everything you could explain by like someone homeostasis or Yggdrasil both doing what Koshiro did of making backups of their data. Which I guess effectively just mean the reboot doesn't do anything as long as you know about it in advance.
Yeah.
But like, what happened to the holy beasts? Like that just seems so directly linked to once you're reviving Tapirmon and Bakumon that like weren't the holy beasts important? Weren't they useful? Were they doing anything? Are they doing anything? Are
they back? They're fine. The world's good now.
No, they're not. They've been rebooted back to like.
Back to nothingness.
Back to rookie form, presumably. Back to, because like Bakumon is a rookie form, like right, like back to pre having their adventure, so they're not holy beasts anymore. Like digital worlds.
Oh God! If Maki didn't break down for one more movie, this would have resolved her character arc.
Oh yeah, I realized that, and I thought it was hilarious.
What was that?
Ordinmon has all the memories of all the Digimon, including Tapirmon. It would have fixed Maki's problem.
Oh, I see. Oh, boy.
Actually, there's a lot of points where everything could easily resolve itself.
Oh, wait. Actually, I do want to raise a possible flag for that. Like, because they said all the Digimon, and I don't know if they meant like all of our Digimon or all Digimon in the world. Because all of our Digimon, there's a presumable mechanical explanation for that. Like, Koshiro was building a backup system for their Digimon. He wasn't building it for all Digimon. So, like, and that's supposedly what Meikumon absorbed or whatever, right? So, like, I don't entirely see how she would have gotten all Digimon data.
Well, I thought that was why she was special.
I mean, I could see based on the vagueness of this movie, either being true. Like either
Yeah,
she's special because she
fair.
absorbed, 8 Digimon's memories, or she's special because she was
Wait,
able
but
to absorb the
Digimons
entire
are
world.
forever. That's what Lucky Jedi told me.
Yeah. I was also thinking, like, why would Hackmon, oh my god.
Hawkmon, oh boy.
Justmon.
Hawkmon definitely was
Whatever.
not here.
Hackmon is transliterated as Huckmon and Hackmon in different
Yeah, I know.
things.
That's why I'm confused.
Yeah.
Also, it's 6 a.m. Like, what was his aim if it wasn't the reboot? Because he did say he had a different thing in mind. So I thought, oh, she literally has all the memories, all of them. And I mean, like, we're used to, what's his face? Calumon is the concept of evolution. So she wouldn't be the first.
Except
to
she's
be
apparently
an
just...
incarnation of something weird. I mean,
I find the fact that Mekumon's gone now so frustrating. Like, trying to think why I found it so frustrating. Like, there's something that feels like it doesn't connect to. I can't remember.
I mean, in the end, it just feels like this whole movie was inconsequential because Maki is presumably dead, Daigo is presumably dead, Mako is, like, presumably written out of any future things by way of Mekumon being dead.
where's the end of that sentence?
On that note, Mako, one thing, like, I found Mako's focus and Mako taking focus away, quote unquote, taking focus away from the 0-2 kids, frustrating throughout all the try. The fact, not just that, like, the spotlight's on her instead of 0-2 kids, because that's a matter of, like, what you choose to focus on. It's hard. You can't focus on both of them. So, like, but the fact that they speak all these platitudes about being friends forever and they're so important and whatever.
Yeah, it's so hollow.
While they're not remembering the 0-2 kids. But as of the resolution of this movie, I actually find it a lot more acceptable, because what it feels like at this point, if this was like these 6 movies were like, like a year in the life of the Adventure Kids, and it's like an adventure they had over an extended period of time, but it's not the story. It's not the entire thing. It's not like they're friends with Mako and like they're the best friends for life.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it less contradicts that, like, feeling of loyalty that we thought they had to the 0-2 kids if Mako is like someone who comes in, had a big adventure with them for a year, and then left.
I mean, but we get enough hints. It's just like, it doesn't make sense at the point where they're fighting all these real world battles and doing all these things, and Daigo's like, I had to keep this information from you. And I really wanted him to take the jab of, like, and it was so easy because y'all never asked where the heck any of them were.
Y'all are idiots. Like,
yeah, y'all are so dumb.
Especially you two, TK and Kari.
that's the other thing. Like, it doesn't even, I don't even see there's nothing that easily comes to mind as, like, how those 4 0-2 kids found out without TK and Kari, Takaru and Hikari finding out too. Like,
Right.
But whatever.
Actually, the great thing about that thing is, what the hell was Davis thinking going into a battle against a Mega with 1 Mega and 2 champions?
Why are you assuming Davis thinks?
Yeah, oh, burn, sick burn.
Do you not know him?
Do you not know him?
we also know nothing about
but
the situation. We literally
found out that they found out a plot and then they died.
We know they heard about Yggdrasil, and we saw a shot of them ominously with Alphamon.
What happened to Alphamon?
Alphamon's busy in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume Alphamon is somehow being controlled or influenced by Yggdrasil, and he's just... Well, also, who knows if Evil Jedi as Mysterious Man is Yggdrasil or is an agent for Yggdrasil. But the whole movie...
He's totally not.
I don't think he is Yggdrasil either. I mean, I've seen some people speculate that because Hackmon says to him...
What is he? I don't even know. I don't care.
I take him at his word that he said in movie 4 or whatever of him being a corrupted Jedi. Like, some people... there's so many layers. What I want to say is... going back one layer, I'm going to come back to this. Hackmon said to Jedi... like, you're using that form or something when he was using Ken's body.
Yes.
And I think people assumed that meant that, like, he is Yggdrasil just using all these different forms. With the extra information that in the silhouettes in the pods, there are 5 silhouettes. There's the 4 0-2 kids and Jedi's silhouette. So people are concluding...
that, but cool.
Yeah, people are concluding... I think initially they were like... There's like a spiky-haired...
Yeah, there's a spiky-haired one, and I was like, who's that?
Yeah, so that's Jedi.
Rio.
And so...
Yeah.
It's Rio.
That's another thing. Put that
aside for a second.
In the parking lot. Is that the business term? Anyway.
That is the term.
Yeah. But people are concluding that because that's Jedi's body, that like, okay, he's obviously not the real Jedi. But Jedi is known for making clones / offshoots of himself.
Yeah.
So I just assumed that one of them got corrupted fully. Or whatever.
Interesting.
And the other thing I want to say about
Fair
that
enough.
is that so there's this. I'll link to this in the show notes. But there's a resource. I think it was written up by. Okay. So there's a resource written by Onkei-kun, who does a lot of fan translation stuff for the Digimon community, and she basically went through the Digimon Adventure light novels. I think there are 3 of them, and they are retelling an adventure with adding a bunch of extra information, and I think changing events in some places. Like apparently, like Takaru doesn't get his crest until the end or something. There's some events that are different, but also adds a bunch more backstory. It's the first time where they mention homeostasis as the thing that possesses Hikari and whatever. And it adds a lot more information about like a Pokemon, how a Pokemon formed, and like where a Pokemon came from, and the firewall. And it explicitly talks about Piedmon, the seed that Piedmon planted in Jedi, and stuff. Mm-hmm. And basically all these ideas that like things that I initially was like, oh my god, in Chapter 3, they're mentioning homeostasis. That's so cool. Or like they're like possibly referring to Jedi being corrupted by the dark quote spore, whatever Piedmon planted in him. That's so cool. They're coming up with these ideas. Oh, and the proto adventure kids, the Maki and Daigo having holy beasts.
Right.
All those ideas are like, oh, they're calling back to all these things. They were all, like similar versions were explained in the light novels.
Okay.
So they're not ideas that came out of the new writers coming in and be like, what are the loose? They're not like, what are the loose threads from adventure and how can we tie them together? They're more like loose threads of an adventure and kind of retold in the light novels. And they're like, okay, let's take some of that from the light novels. And one of those was talking explicitly about Jedi being corrupted by Piedmon as being like throughout adventure. That's the reason why he's in this. His house is under the sea because it's supposed to be super zen and keep him tranquil to keep it from going rogue.
Interesting.
Which I don't feel like really gels with the fact that he just invites them in and is like, cool, you're in my house. Like, if he's like, I might go evil at any minute. Like,
I mean, I accept that this is just some actual Jedi.
Yeah, like with some like the thing from Piedmon, like keeping him going corrupt or whatever, or like
sure,
like it might even like the thing. I think people are also assuming that the little cube that he has at the end is. Oh, that's what I find frustrating about Megamon dying. Like I can accept Megamon dying as a necessity to get rid of the shard of a Pokemon. If Megamon died and you still just has the shard of a Pokemon,
well,
that's
like, apparently what he has, right?
Yeah, like that just feels so frustrating that like she essentially
he's gonna go put it in Daimon.
Yeah, but like, is that really the conclusion? Like, I can accept her dying because it saved the world, but like, I guess it just
for
died.
now.
Yeah, like.
But Rio, though.
Everything
Rio.
in life is only for now.
What was that song?
It's from Avenue Q.
I should see that. Speaking of Digimon, one thing I want to mention about I put Rio in the parking lot. Let's go back to Rio. People have noticed, and I've seen this making the rounds, that there is when they show the kids around the world with the Digivices randomly, that I guess helps.
Yeah, all
Is
two
Rio
groups.
there? No.
Rio's there, Ashley.
He is?
It's someone who does not look like Rio at all.
What?
Oh, wait, let me see if I can find.
What?
I'll send the screenshot. There's someone who doesn't look like Rio at all, but has the same shirt as Rio from our war game when he was like in the woods or whatever, like in the wilderness.
I feel like I did. I remember that shot, and I was like, "This feels familiar." But again, just because it's supposed to be like a reenactment of half those shots, but with older kids, right? Like,
but that's the thing. It's like it's very much the same shirt. It's not even like, oh, it's kind of similar. It's like in the sense that like it doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you wear the same exact shirt that many years later? Like
For 6 years, 6 year neck 5, but
it even has the same
it's a
scarf.
jacket. It could last that long.
Yeah, I guess so. But now he's a new hat. But also he doesn't look like Rio in the new version at
gotta
all.
wait for this image to load on this slow
hotel Wi-Fi.
slow hotel Wi-Fi. Oh man. Oh
Maybe they're
yeah.
implying that
This
kid
is the
isn't
shot
Rio.
where I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty weird. Feels very familiar.
Honestly, he looks like Izzy.
Yeah, I don't think that's Rio. I think that's just a strange callback.
So you think it's just like a callback to someone wearing a similar shirt and
Yeah, and being a mountain.
I don't think it's supposed to be Rio. I think it's a weird continuity thing that now it's like, if that's supposed to be the same kid, I guess it was never Rio in this continuity.
Yeah,
or
that's what
whatever.
I'm saying.
Oh really?
I don't know. It could just be a thing that's not supposed to be affecting the continuity of that being Rio. It could just be like a weird callback or whatever. I have one question. Kind of, if we hadn't, if we didn't have to watch this for the podcast, like the day it came out, or like the hours of it coming out, if you were just like had the freedom to watch it whenever, how quickly would you have like your curiosity? Like how quickly would you have wanted to watch it?
If I didn't have to watch this for the podcast, would I have watched the other 5?
Yeah, if you already watched the other 5, and then we were like, Pottages is done, no more Pottages.
Then yeah, I would watch it. I would watch it.
Forced you.
I wouldn't have watched. I would have watched it on Saturday.
Wow.
I follow enough Digimon vlogs that like I'd get annoyed by the spoilers, so I would go watch it.
I think Ash was the only one I was interested to hear that about.
Okay, well, you got it.
I mean, actually, I assume you would have. I guess maybe you would have been you because you get like sometimes when you're indifferent, you're like you get like righteously indifferent. You're like, no, I will not watch this right away.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched it right away. I would have been like, I don't care. It's like it takes, for me in particular, it takes something being really, really good for me to have enough follow through to like consume it in a timely manner.
I have direct counter evidence about that. In a show called Darling in the Franxx.
Yo, I love Darling in the Franxx, though. That
you said
shit
it has to
is
be
trash,
good.
but I love
you said it has to be good.
No, I am addicted to their romance.
Oh, boy.
I am so sorry for you.
I'm just straight addicted to it. Oh, no, is the new episode bad? See, I haven't watched the new episode
You
yet.
shouldn't be straight addicted to it. You should be queer addicted. So
okay, that's cool, too. Whatever.
There's a new opening, apparently.
Anyway. Should we move on to Shipping Corner?
Yes.
Ship them out to sea.
I guess we should start with the one that I left off here, which is Taichi X Yamato. And someone wrote in,
How
I was
could
not
you
on here.
forget?
They had that cute little fist
baffled
bump
at
thing.
you.
That was like
That
the
thing
most...
was amazing.
That thing was amazing. Just, Asher's already retumbled that like 5 times.
I mean, I haven't because I don't like spoiling things for people.
But eventually you will.
I actually may have put that in my queue. I don't remember.
What cue?
In the moment, I was like, really? That's it? Like, they're not going to hold hands?
I really wanted them to hold hands. I really thought they were gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it fits with their, like, we're too mature we're too cool now.
They're too cool.
Just a little. I think
Dumb
that,
teenagers.
I think this is actually like pronouncedly gayer than holding hands.
actually, the more that I think about it, like, as we've been talking, the more that I think about it, the more, like, the fact that it is so... Like, the fact that it is so, like, we want to show affection, but we can't,
Yeah.
is what makes it more strong than, like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if it were an actual, like, direct fist bump,
It's
it would be, like...
incredible.
Like, an actual, like, fist bump is, like,
so
whatever.
happy.
But a, like, oh, hey, bro.
Hey, bro. It was Taichi being like, stay strong, Yamato. Also, I love you.
Just like he was Yamato was so like it was really hard to like not read all of Yamato's like missing Taichi and being the only one who can replace I did not like that word, first of all, but like the only one who could replace Taichi, it was really hard not to read that as
the
like
only one to fill in the hole.
He's the only one who like understands what Taichi's about. It's like it's really hard not to read that as shippy.
Oh, I actually kind of, on a similar note, like talking about replacing Yamato I was thinking more about how Gabumon tries to like replace Taichi's, the whole Yamato's heart of Taichi. And it's like, you don't have your partner anymore. It felt very much like Maki and Daigo.
Gabumon being like, I'm gonna hug you, Yamato, and then give you a rant about how I'll always be with you.
Well, it's right after. It's right after Yamato was like, "Oh, what would like Taichi? Why aren't you here?"
Yeah.
And then Gabumon's like, "I can be here for you. I can be your partner.
Here. Please love me, Yamato."
And we saw how well that worked out for Maki and Daigo. So
yeah. Oh boy. So yes, obviously Taichi and Yamato like one true pairing, but
there was also Yamato and Sora.
Are they a thing? I'm very confused.
Another thing that I found in going back and listening to our old episodes of Try Discussion, I forgot just how much of our discussion early on was eaten up by being like, are Sora and Yamato a thing? Like, is this?
I still don't know. We still
don't know, but it's become less and less important, and we care less. We find that less crucial to anything because it's just like, of course we aren't supposed to know that.
Of course not.
Or that's a thing that happened before, but like, And I don't mind. I don't mind them like not being, and like Sora needing to decide which one she feels more about. But like, I mind that it doesn't fit with 02, and to walk that back.
Whatever.
And
Taichi goes out with Mako now.
I appreciate that a little bit. I don't know why I do. I shouldn't. I take it back. Reverse my decision.
Jeffrey, I'm going to warn you that they're giving us food in a few minutes.
Okay, I'll make it interrupted in a minute.
You're doing a what?
We're getting food delivered from Ashley's teammates. Are there any other ships? Any other shipping corners?
Kari X bed.
Bed?
that's I guess true. Yeah, the big one.
Takeru.
That
It's not as strong as Taito, but like it was nice to see them like having that special bond again.
Yeah, Hikari and Takeru, I'm like, you're a thing. Patamon makes it canonical.
it was the Patamon. It was the Patamon overreacting that I was like, this is going too far, I think.
Yeah, it was like, Patamon, this is actually not the time to make your little Hikari and Takeru shipping joke right now.
Oh, wait, we didn't actually talk about Sora and Yamato. We just talked about the concept of Sora and Yamato. Sora and Yamato had their moment with
Biyomon.
With Biyomon, like storming in and be like, why'd you make her cry? But also like discussing what they should do about Taichi, like whether Yamato is okay leaving Taichi behind. And
yeah, it's really about Taichi.
It's really about Taichi. And I love it.
That conversation fails the Bechdel test because they're talking about Taichi.
Yeah. Fails the Bechdel test on many levels, but yeah.
Wait, did this movie completely fail the Bechdel test?
All of them have.
Yeah.
Are we surprised? Digimon does not pass the Bechdel test.
Digimon does not pass the Bechdel test. They had that one scene where all the girls are like talking to each other as Hikari has a fever. I don't really remember what they're... But all the dudes just stand there being like, the girls are having a moment. It was kind of funny.
I vaguely remember that being a thing. I don't remember any details about that. There was like, I feel like there was so little Mimi in this movie in general.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. There was a supreme lack of Mimi.
Yeah, but she had her "I'm gonna fight you" game on.
I've seen some people on Twitter and social media reacting strongly to that, and I'm like, it is literally an image or two of like her along with everyone else in group photos. Like, I feel like it's everyone struggling to be like, she barely got any moment shine. We need to have some. We need to have some Mimi
moment.
And it sucked. I wish there was more. I wish there was more actual Mimi moments. I feel like the other movies have done a better job. Even the, like disliking 4, disliking 5. I feel like they did a better job of balancing everyone.
Yeah.
This one just felt like some people like barely had like Mimi.
Like Joe and Mimi got shafted, man.
Joe.
Yeah.
What did Joe?
Joe was like not in this movie.
His body was there.
At least he showed
It's
up.
a good thing we only love him for his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy Joe.
That's why I aim for a Joe body every day. Oh boy. I guess I want to briefly talk about the like opinion polls that we had and like how they shifted our opinions. So I don't know if you saw, listeners may have seen on social media, mainly I guess it was just on Twitter actually. I ran these opinion polls about a couple of different talking points. I guess the ones were like, do you think Tri has been a good addition to the Digimon franchise? How do you feel about Mako? And are you disappointed in Tri? And we polled before the movie came out and after the movie came out. I feel like the listener responses, there was some drift, but it's like pretty minor. I feel like it was all positive drift though. Like things going from like 35% strongly agree with Digimon being a good addition to the franchise to 37%. And things roughly like that. But we also asked our hosts, all of us, and then before the movie and after the movie, and I thought some of the differences were interesting. Like I went from, the question was, how much do you like Mako? And it went from love Mako, love Mako, like Mako, dislike Mako, hate Mako. And I went from the beginning of the movie, before the movie, disliking Mako to liking Mako. Asher went from liking Mako to loving Mako, and Ashley and Andrew say the same. But I'm kind of curious, Ash, why'd you go from liking to love Mako?
Largely, it's because I kind of want to rescue her from Digimon at this point. Like,
do you think she's an interesting character outside of the role of Digimon?
Honestly, no. Honestly, like, my opinion of her has not particularly changed. She did a little bit that I, like, throwing Yamato off in the ocean and, like, really...
What?
Like, solidifying... He tried to grab her arm and she was, like, not having it.
I don't remember it.
Oh, yeah, I remember
she
that.
literally throw him. She did not do that, but...
And then he called her an idiot when he has to, like, go save her because something from Ordinamon is, like, going to hit her.
Right, but, like, I appreciated her sticking to her guns. But, I mean, she did not really grow as a person. But Digimon Tri, kind of except for Mimi, has been so just, like, completely crappy to its female characters that I'm at the point where I'm spite-loving Mako.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Like, you gave me any female character, therefore I love them.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
Or I guess any female character that isn't, like, Yoshi or Zoe.
I like Zoe.
Do you love Zoe?
Honestly, I like most of the Digimon female characters. It's just they treat them like shit, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Like...
When I think about liking or loving characters, I feel like I'm, in my head, kind of, like, conflating the character themselves and the scenario they're in for most of their time in the show. So, like, when I think about, like, not liking Zoe, it's like, I like her character, I just don't like her scenario.
Oh, see, I don't do that. I like Zoe. It has nothing to do with, like, how crap Digimon treats girls.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Ashley also went from very disappointed in Tri to a little disappointed.
Well, I liked this movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I want to talk about one theme that I found interesting it really wasn't so much in this movie, but in reflecting on the other movies I had in my mind when we came into this movie. And there's kind of some signs of it in this movie. And it's what the Mako and Makomon relationship has to say about codependence. And I feel like the evidence from chapters 1 through 5 of when Mako goes full corrupted mode, it's when she's separated from Makomon. Sorry. When Makomon gets corrupted,
I was really confused.
Their names are two. But my thesis is that they are two. It's an unhealthy codependent relationship. They are too close together. They are a unit that cannot be separated. And if they are separated, they go berserk and the fate of the world is at risk. And the fact that their names are identical is like another sign that they cannot be separated. They are an atomic unit. And when they're separated, a nuclear explosion happens.
So I guess you're also going to argue is how Hikari and Taichi are?
Yeah. You're thinking at the notes, and
how dare I look at the notes that we prepared?
I think that's what they were going for, at least, that Hikari is too codependent on Taichi, but I'm going to put that back in the parking lot now that we're using this business terminology, because I want to talk more Mako and Makomon, like...
Such a business podcast.
Yeah, we're the premier business podcasts are really popular, like entrepreneur.
I know.
You can 101 do-it-yourself business advice, marketing,
advertorial. We would do really well.
And, the other chosen children and their Digimon have had to be forcibly separated. You know, it's all tragic. They have to leave at the end of Adventure. And I guess between Adventure 02 and Tri, they somehow got separated, whatever. And that's really sad. But we've seen that it makes them into more independent people that don't have these, like, crises of, like, oh no, we've been separated. I don't know what that means to be a person anymore. And, like...
I know what that's like.
Oh.
What?
Whoa.
Oh boy. I didn't mean to make this into a family therapy podcast.
We're a business podcast, you guys. Remember.
We're a business advertorial marketing podcast.
Yeah.
Hashtag content. But the other kids have... I'm just stalling for words while I'm trying to remember what train of thought I was on. They've had to be separated. And, in the last movie, I complained that Mako and Makomon... That Mako kind of treats the other kids like they are her senpai about having a Digimon, when she's been with Makomon so much longer. She's been with Makomon nonstop for 6 years. The other kids have, like, had big adventures, but, like, only been around them for a much shorter period of time.
Like a summer camp.
Yeah. And so, like, I found that frustrating in the last movie. I was like, this is not logical. It seems like a contradiction. It seems like something they've overlooked in the writing. And now I've kind of reversed in that position. I'm like, I mean, I don't think it's articulated well, but I think if you dig beneath the surface, I think it does make sense that she, like, in having this unhealthy codependent relationship with Makomon, has not reached a healthy relationship that the other kids have with their Digimon. And I think, like, stepping back and being like, what concepts could a new season of Digimon Adventure explore? I think what happens when you have a Digimon and human relationship that is, we always present that as being a super positive thing that's always positive and great. What happens if that's actually negative because they're too codependent on each other? I think that's an interesting concept. I guess it's kind of sad.
You wrote Yamato and Gabumon, but isn't, like, Biomon and Sora the more traditional one?
I guess so, when they're in their first appearance and stuff. in the adventure. But I wanted to bring up Yamato and Gabumon because the stuff Gabumon said to Yamato in this movie in particular was like direct contradiction of everything that I've been saying just now. Like everything about how I thought chapters 1 through 5 were showing that too much codependence was bad and unhealthy. Gabumon's like, I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna like play baseball with your children.
Yeah, play baseball.
I'm gonna go to the hot springs with you when
you're 85 and old and wrinkly.
Yeah. So like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, I guess it contradicts. Like, I feel like the movie was definitely framing that as a positive thing and a good thing, and I feel like I guess that contradicts what I thought the movies were saying before. But also, do the movies have any coherent vision?
Nope.
Barely. Yeah, no. So
some people on Twitter would fight you about that, but okay.
But the other thing, back in the parking lot, Hikari and Taichi, I do feel like what they were trying to go for in the last movie when she causes a dark digivolution because Taichi is gone, that like, I guess that means they were so codependent that like they're separated for a little bit and she just goes full. But
it's not codependent though. It's just her being dependent.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, it doesn't go both ways. It's unidirectional.
No, it's definitely both ways.
No,
just more towards one side.
I think a similar situation could happen where like if Hikari disappeared, Taichi be so mad with vengeance.
Yeah.
But
I guess we are showing that in past seasons, but not in Trial itself.
But also I think it's like a protective. It's a very I guess
or maybe their family. This is kind of normal, actually.
I mean, I get the feeling that Taichi has actually like gotten over some of that, but like he was at one point super crazy when Hikari was sick and he was separated from her.
Well, I think he's gotten over it, and somehow Hikari keeps having the same damn problem, right?
But I think like what Andrew's saying about it being normal, I think it is normal for kids when they're younger to have that, very tight, like I will protect my younger sibling, and the younger sibling being like I will be protected by my older sibling. And I do
Isn't she like 14?
I mean, I think that's something that is fair to grow out of at that age, and I think that I feel like the movie didn't really portray it as being like, I don't think we actually see Hikari being super dependent on Taichi. Like they say in this movie, I think that she's like, we were always by each other's side or something in the beginning when she's reflecting back. And it's like, were you? I don't think you were.
We were like, but you weren't though, because in the beginning you weren't there.
Well, they do the flashback to the scene where she wakes him up and it's like, oh yeah, you woke him up for school. That means you were the...
It's like also in Adventure Zero 2, y'all were together.
That's the thing. She went on her own. She had her own whole thing and like occasionally consulted with him about like the struggles that they had as adventure kids that the Zero 2 kids don't know about. And like...
Well, the difference between then and now is she didn't watch her brother get swallowed up by the earth because of a stupid royal knight doing a thing.
I just reflect, like thinking about like what she said as like we were always together, and that
it's not true.
It seemed like she grew out of this before, and for the movies
a lot of stuff that the Digimon Adventure kids did in the past they grew out of it in 02, and now they're not.
I don't think that's really the case. I think they just had different things. Like I don't think you would say that like Joe, like that Joe studying in Tri was a reversal of his 02 stuff. It was just a different situation. Him studying for high school entrance exams in 02 is different than him studying for college entrance exams.
Well, Joe's the outlier.
I don't know about that. I guess to some sense, Tri's always been guilty of rewriting, like just glossing over things from 02 to make a more quote unquote neat and tidy story.
Glossing over things of 02. They're glossing over a lot.
Yeah. But I find it frustrating that Hikari, they say that Hikari is super dependent on Taichi and is not really. And that's the amount of character arc she gets in this movie, is that she confronts him.
Yes.
And that's supposed to be like, she is not being like, I'll go along with you. But we don't actually see her doing that much. We don't see her being like, I disagree with Taichi, but I'll follow him because he's my brother and he's the leader and respectable and everything. But we're supposed to believe that like the one time she disagrees with him, that it's like, oh, that's a big deal. That's a whatever. It's lackluster and awkward, and the whole scene just.
I always want better for my Hikari, man.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
When Daemon comes.
Oh yeah, she's got Maki and Hikari are gonna like alternate being brides of Dagumon.
Oh no.
They're gonna have like
Please don't.
What?
The Bachelor Dagumon edition.
Okay.
No, it's more like that game show, whatever it's called.
The one
That's
where they
not
compete
helpful.
with the Bachelor to become the
Yeah.
bride.
No, an actual game show, not a reality TV series.
I think my Bachelor joke was amazing. Unanswered questions.
Where is Maki? Is she Daigo's mom's bride? I guess. Probably. I don't
was
know.
prepared.
Daigomon.
Whatever.
Ooh, Daigo's gonna digivolve into Daigomon, which is like Daigo.
Yo, I just solved everything.
Oh boy. When I was thinking about preparing this podcast before we watched the movie, I was like, we're not gonna have an unanswered question segment because it's just gonna be like there's the things that are wrapped up and there are loose threads. That's it. But no.
Are you serious?
Where's Joe's
No
girlfriend?
wonder you guys.
Why
are
does she
disappointed.
never text him?
No. That's the thing. The questions like where is Joe's girlfriend? I expect it to exist, and I was just like, yeah, there are going to be obvious things that aren't explored. That aren't going to be. No, what I'm saying. That's the reason why I didn't want to have. I didn't initially think we'd have much of an unanswered question segment because I thought there'd be lots of things that are not addressed.
What is a demiurge, Jeffrey?
I did not think there would be so many like, what were you thinking? What were you doing? Why were you like those kind of questions? There were. I should have.
Why were you all
realized.
standing
no wonder
there?
you guys were disappointed.
Why were you standing there? At what point, Ashley?
At any point.
At every point,
Every
always.
point. Yeah.
Why was the computer lab? They fell in a ditch in like the desert of the digital world and ended up in
That's how the digital world
the
works.
lab
No,
that Daigo and
that's
Maki
fine.
used to.
That's-
And they somehow fell in such a way
the
that
digital
only.
world has been explained to me in such a way that I'm like, whatever, sure.
No, I mean,
I don't understand Licky Jenai's explanation of like, you can only send one.
okay, no, that actually makes sense. It's because there are 6 pods. There was 1 unoccupied. There were 5
I don't
people.
think that's true though.
There were 5 people on life support in the pods, and the scenario setup was the life support is cut off now. They will die if they don't have life support, and there are 5 pods, and there's a 6th seat. And what they lied over is that the pods are life support and also teleporters. And
No, because I think that they described that one pod specifically as a transport pod. Daigo is like, get into the transport pod.
yeah, 'cause I think it was the 1 extra pod. He said there was 1 seat. I think it was 1 extra seat. That's what I was confused about. Was I thought Lucky Jenai was saying that there was only 1 thing, and they had to choose between the 402 kids and Taichi and Daigo. They had to pick one of the 6 of them, and I was like, but then how did they send all the 02 kids? And I think it's that they were all transports, but 1 person had to die because there was 1 more than the number of transports.
Yes, that is how I understood it. Also,
that is not what I read several hours ago.
I think I was similarly confused. I think I had the same confusion the first time, and then the second time I was like, okay, they definitely lied over and did not make it clear because there's the conflation between are the pods transports or life support things? Are they both? Why are they both?
No, but there's
What is
definitely
this?
a line in which Jenai is like,
There's
oh,
1
you
seat
can
left.
only send one
He said
thing.
there's 1 transport. There's only 1 seat. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they
one
can
extra
easily
one.
stand.
They can easily just go both in one. I think they need someone to also trigger from the outside. That's the thing. Like, you need someone to trigger from the outside. Isn't that all you need to set up the scenario? Like, just say someone needs to lock it from the outside.
Well, it's obvious who should die, and it's Daigo.
How did they fall in such a way that only Daigo got hurt?
I don't. That's the thing I don't understand.
Also, my out there theory: Daigo's not dead. That was red calligraphy ink, guys.
No.
Y'all are being absurd to think he died. That was red calligraphy ink.
He's dead.
He had a packet of red calligraphy ink in his
his
jacket.
You know, them falling in a hole such that Daigo is the only one who is mortally injured makes sense.
Was it such that Daigo was below and Taichi was... No, Daigo was above. Because they were reaching hands, right?
Yes.
And Daigo was above.
I mean, presumably he, like, brought Taichi into himself and, like, protected
Ooh,
him
that's my fan fiction.
somehow. Yes, exactly. I don't know. It doesn't make sense that Taichi has literally no wounds and Daigo is like,
Yeah.
I'm dead. Like,
Well, no, Daigo seemed like I'm dead, and then he used the computer, and they got to the computer terminal, and we were both like, wait, what? You can move? And you're just like, totally fine.
Yeah,
he later retches like he...
yeah,
kind
he
of like,
slowly deteriorates again, but there's definitely like, they set it up in the beginning that he's already so dead, but then they're like, computers turned on, and he gets like real hype for like 5 minutes, and it's like, what?
what? You don't feel like that when you turn your computer off?
Yeah, actually,
Duh.
once you log on to the World Wide Web,
Well, why-
surf the web.
Yeah. What other questions do you have? Where is the idea? Just
You
where
were
is
so
idea?
about that 6 episodes ago.
I mean,
Where's the demiurge?
I guess those are things that can be explored by future. If
Digimon.
there's more adventure or adventure try, whatever.
No more.
possibly
No
is-
more. No more.
Wait, so Ash, did you see the news that was tied into this at all?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So for people who
What?
haven't heard about it, there's a new Digimon project, which is all the adjectives that have been announced.
There is a new Digimon project, period. And then Licky Genai saying, next is Daemon. Or maybe Diaboromon.
And it's not like there's some anniversary coming up next year.
Didn't we just have one?
So Tri was initially announced
like 4 years ago.
Yeah, Tri was announced 4 years ago at the 15th anniversary. It's been 4 years leading up to this magnificent, wonderful moment. There's so much about so I think Adam from System Restore and With the Well podcast mentioned on Twitter that the way he was thinking about this was that the movie felt like it was trying to hedge and had to be both a season finale and a series finale, and that it did both of those kind of well. And
No, not at all.
we can't judge it. I don't think we can fully judge it as a season finale without knowing what future seasons would explore. Judging it as a series finale,
It's an awful series finale.
I guess the parallel would be like Western TV, because in Digimon seasons, usually season and series, aside from an adventure in 02, are synonymous. But thinking more like Western series where you can end the season and not know what the fate of the show is. And this is not, I don't know. In some ways, it does feel like a show that doesn't know it's coming back or not. But I don't. Because I do see how if Licky Genai falling into the portal and being like, next is Diaboromon, next is Daemon, I can personally extrapolate, I can do the dot in my head of and they kept having adventures. Yggdrasil is this recurring villain who keeps causing chaos for him. I can imagine that thing in my head without needing to see it.
But they just so obviously shoehorn left out 4 characters of this, and then we're let me mention things in which they were involved.
Yeah, just leaving the fate of Maki, leaving Alphamon out is kind of just that feels par for the course of you have more mysteries than you have answers to, kind of. But Maki, it's
She's in the dark.
that's a super unsatisfying way to end her arc. And every movie has felt like it had less to say in a movie's runtime than it was always padding. And it's just a shame because it's it's got so much screen time and it's a little story or development. These aren't unanswered questions anymore, so
No.
should go into
These are complaints again.
These are complaints again.
Everything's complaints.
Complaint.
All connected.
I don't have my soundboard, so I can't have Trubamon scream Terminal Judgment. Oh wait, he was there. That sounded totally like him.
Terminal Judgment.
Terminal Judgment.
No.
Do we have
They're all
any?
bad.
Yeah.
I'd say do we have any last thoughts, but
No.
we are going to reconvene to do some listener Q&A. And there are lots of interesting questions that we got that I'm excited to tackle and to read people's theory reviews and everything. So this isn't quite the end of our discussion, but for now, any last thoughts?
Try. You so disappoint me.
Ashley just looked so like a kind of tiredness and weariness to her soul just now. It wasn't I'm tired from playing hockey, playing two hockey games today and it's now 9:00. It was my soul, I feel like the old man in the sauna with Digimon after these 6 movies.
I feel like you had moments of brilliance, Try, surrounded by a lot of bad things.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Where are the 02 kids?
We found the cardboard cutouts.
We found them. They're in the hospital. It's fine.
They don't even the pod that they we see Taichi's washed up pod. Why is there only one pod?
I don't know, man.
Oh my god.
There's an unanswered question for you.
Why didn't anyone know that? Wait, how did they even find out about the 02 kids?
Koshiro called them and said they were found at a hospital.
Well,
yeah,
what
I don't
about
know.
Tai?
I mean, presumably Taichi brought them to a hospital, and then told Izzy or something. I don't know.
Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Ty's alive."
Yeah, he definitely did not call Izzy.
Yeah, that's not possible. Maybe he just like.
Hey, the parents were in this for a hot second. 5 seconds.
The parents, as in just Diagami parents.
Wasn't there?
There was one other.
There was
Mako's one other.
And I couldn't identify her. Who was she?
It was Mako's mom. That's what frustrated me. That like they are the only parents that have been in this, and I really think it's just a voice actor thing. The Koshiro's parents were in the first movie in superly awkward written scene where they couldn't talk. They couldn't talk because I assume they couldn't get the voice actors. Like, and it's like there's so many limitations. Like, that feels so frustrating to me because it makes it feel like the fact that they don't speak feels like we're constrained on resources. And I can understand that when you want to like, you can't have all these extra voices and stuff because you're constrained on resources. But then it feels like the Tokyo arc of adventure was a bigger deal than these movies, you know, like by having all these extra characters and everything. And like,
well, it was.
They were. It just straight up was. It's the one true Digimon. Let's be real.
And I forget if we mentioned this in the recording or if it was before the recording, but like Try's biggest strength, one of Try's biggest strengths is like the fact that the character writing, even if the character arcs are frustrating, even if the resolutions of Digivolutions are contrived and like this is silly, like why did this happen now, but whatever. But like it feels like the characters, the way they speak and act and everything feels like the characters, and there are moments it's like, oh, that's them. That's great. This movie had like a moment or two of those cool moments.
This movie like put a lot into that Gabumon and Yamato scene and was just like, I don't really, that's kind of weird.
And that was really sweet scene. Sweet scene. It was a really sweet scene, but not enough to carry the whole movie. And it was weirdly dissonant with the maybe undertone of codependency being bad.
Yeah. Koshiro gets to be Koshiro. Like, he's like, I cannot let things rebooted.
Yeah, he basically is just replaying his arc from the third movie. He's just replaying his scenes from the third movie.
Yeah, he was being proactive again.
Yeah.
Which is something that Try doesn't do half the time.
One thing I like, and it's conditional on if there is more of this story, if there's more to, like, if the stuff that Lucky Genai teases is actually explored. I actually kind of really dig the framing of that kind of villain. I'm still frustrated that he is just evil. He's not like, I was so hyped for, especially after chapter 3, that like it seemed like Try was heading to a position where there was no evil. It was just people with different, like, it seemed like Maki had a reason to do these things, and like maybe
Maki had a reason. She was fine.
Now, she was backed up by pure evilness. Like, and it's like,
she went crazy, but she was fine.
so even with that caveat aside, I don't like that it's pure evilness, but like having this like gesture figure that is like meddling in these events and like, you know, makes Mekomon be the focus of the season and like plays around and is like, I'm gonna tease and then drop this big villain. I feel like that is the kind of framing of villains that we always wanted from adventure. But instead it was just like, oh, you beat Devimon. Oh, here's Devimon. Oh, here's the next one. Here's the next one. Here's the next one. And it's like, oh, they were actually all working for this one. And it's like, were they? So at least like Lucky Genai being that jester that caused all those things. I like that framing if we get to see several iterations of it or whatever.
You keep saying jester, and I keep remembering that like I kept expecting him to just like turn into Piedmon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a speculation, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was kind of,
well, I see where it came from.
Like when I wrote the question of like, do you think Genai will turn into
Piedmon is what you were thinking?
Yeah, like I was like, if it's anyone, it might be Piedmon, it might be Myotismon.
Anybody really.
Oh, should we look at? I do want to briefly mention that we did those prediction questions. We posted them on Twitter. We also asked our hosts, and then we scored them to see what percentage of questions we got right. And you can. Well, if you go to our Twitter page, you can find the questions. I just want to list the scores. And creepily enough, me and Andrew got the exact same. We got 4 wrong out of 14 questions. So we were both tied for first place with 71% correct of our predictions. I said Daigo is not going to die. Andrew said Maki was going to die, which maybe not confirmed in this movie. And Andrew also said that Genai will be revealed to someone else. But anyway, the thing that I found super fascinating is that Ashley and Asher just totally uncoordinated answered everything exactly the same. All 14 questions.
That's why I was so disappointed that Asher was like, I have the exact opposite reaction to this movie than you.
Yeah, wait, Ash. Yeah, you went in with the exact same expectations.
Yeah,
like plot
we went in with exactly the same expectations.
and like
I guess
wildly
I
different.
care about my expectation.
Yeah, I
Also,
think
like, I wouldn't have had expectations if you had not made me do that. Like, those are not questions I ask myself, and I was annoyed at you for making me.
yeah, they are pretty plot-y.
Yeah, thanks.
I feel like this is the one time where like they expected a lot of a plot to happen, even if people were trying to hedge and be like, oh, well, it can't resolve everything, but we all did kind of.
Then don't make too many things that you can't resolve.
These movies.
They're not movies.
They are movies.
They are movies, Andrew. They are shown in movie theaters in Japan. They are marketed as movies.
Mean anything.
It does. They are movies. They are made to be movies, and then they are hacked into episodes that are awful and have a minute and a half of the same thing that you just watched a second before.
The distinction between either releases episodes or not, it's more, is the thing that before it's stationed episodes, is that an OVA or a movie? And those are already nebulous terms. And I listened back to, we had an argument about this in episode in chapter 1, and no, like the distinction is already pretty nebulous. They are marketed and shown as movies in Japan. Here, they are shown in movie theaters, released as movies on DVD. Like, everything says movies. There's not like a clear dividing line between the two of them.
It's a movie.
Yeah, I think movies say this thing, and like distinction is also kind of meaningless. Do we have MVPs for this movie?
Do I have to go first?
Ashley, you're first.
Oh boy.
I have not thought of my answer, so.
Daigo, because he gets dead.
That's not nice.
I'm glad that he died.
It was just red calligraphy ink. I don't even know it was red. Asher, who's your MVP?
Oh, geez. No.
You liked the movie, though. You liked
I
it.
liked this movie. I don't think anyone was my MVP.
Or Deanmon's butt?
Yeah.
No, I didn't like that. Put it away.
Put it back.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Like, we don't have any kind of actual fantasy
Yeah,
draft
it doesn't
running.
matter.
Asher,
Who's
no.
your...
Hey, Andrew, who's yours?
Davis, because he forgot to invite TK and Kari for the most important battle that led to these movies.
Cool.
I can't tell if you're joking or like actually convinced that there was actually a battle, because I assume they just like caught off guard. Anyway,
no, they knew, and then
also,
they got wrecked.
Also, oh my God, the kids saw Maki using Ken's D3. How are they?
No questions.
I'm going to say Daigo, because that Daigo scene. Daigo is my favorite from the beginning. He is into calligraphy. That's cool. He didn't die. It was just calligraphy ink.
No.
But even if he didn't die, his scene was emotional. Ashley, do you have an MVP for Try as a whole?
That is a very hard question.
I just answered it basically for myself.
I mean, yeah, you did.
Daigo.
You just said it's Daigo.
Daigo. It's ride or Daigo.
Okay. I went through many emotions. I was like, no, yes, maybe, yeah, sure. Oh boy. Damn.
Daigo becomes Dai went.
No. Now you've already killed it. You killed it.
Daigo becomes go and die.
I'm gonna punch you.
Please do.
I guess Mimi? Like, I don't know.
It's a good answer.
Patamon
it's a good default.
Is a good...
You were complaining about Patamon's wing flaps in one scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, because it made funny noises, and it was like, don't do this. I would actually say Takaru before Patamon.
But
Mimi.
First choice is Mimi.
Sure.
Asher's just going to say Gomon or Joe.
Joe.
I mean, I was also thinking Mimi, but like, those are good choices too.
So Mimi?
Yeah, I think I'll go with Mimi.
Andrew, you can't choose Riley.
What?
You can't choose Riley, and you can only choose Maki.
What does Riley have to do with anything?
You chose Riley for like an entire season.
What?
Even though she never did anything in half those episodes.
I assume you're going to pick Maki, but you're going to refer to her as Punchy Masaru?
No.
You did that for like the first 2 chapters.
What? She's not Punchy
Okay, not Punchy. You said something. You were saying that
awkward female Masaru.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Punchy Masaru is redundant.
I was like, that's what Masaru is.
Yeah.
No, it's also going to be Mimi.
Oh. It's gonna be me.
It's gonna be me,
Baby.
me.
And, okay, last note. Ashley, rank the movies.
Oh boy, what a challenge. Challenge accepted. 3, 2. It gets hard from here.
Oh, it really does.
3, 2. What happens in 5 is like Mekuman, corruption, sadness.
No, it's like it's Mako like contemplating what to do about Mako.
Whose movie is it supposed to be?
It's like Mako and Hikari on the cover, but it's like because the
right.
coexistence thing happens at the end. Their symbiosis, their fusion. There's like the ghost story in the middle.
Oh yeah, the ghost story, the weird ghost story,
and the Jessmon Alphamon orgy fight.
Right.
Oh, I just want to throw out this absurd prediction that since we already saw that Hackmon is Jessmon's a little bit leaning towards the Jesson side. The future Tri installments will have Omegamon will become Imperial Dramon Paladimon, who will found the Royal Knights with Jessmon and Alphamon, and it's going to be an origin story of the Royal Knights. That's what everyone wants, right?
Yeah.
No.
3, 2, 5. Oh boy. 3, 2, 5.
So you have 4, 1, and 6 left.
Yes, I know.
Everyone else should be thinking about their answers.
4.
We can put 1 that low.
Yeah. 1, 6.
Asher, do you have a good sense?
No, because I don't remember what any of these movies were. Sorry, skip me. Just go.
I guess it gets harder the more movies there are.
Yes.
Andrew.
Shit, I just had it.
Well, I'll go first. Mine would be 3, definitely 3 then 2, and then it gets tricky, and I definitely want to put 4 below 1, and then I need to pick where to put 6 among those. And I think
it's gonna be a long time.
I think so. So my final ranking is 3, 2, 1. I didn't put 5.
Yep, you did put 5.
Oh boy. Which one was
You're
5?
like, now everything
Which
is
one was
wrong.
5? We just had this conversation in reverse 5 seconds ago.
The one with the campfire scene.
Oh yes, the campfire
The
scene.
ghost story.
Yeah. And I guess I put that above 4, and I don't know about 1. I think I explored more interesting ideas, and then 6. Okay, so final going from top to bottom is confession, then determination, then coexistence, then reunion, our future, and loss last. Andrew?
2, 3, 1, 6, 4, 5.
But I'm wondering if our things
I
changed
was
too much.
consistent. Yes.
Yeah, I was consistent too. I inserted 6 near the bottom, second to last place, but
I just added 6 to the end. So yes, I put the 1 that low consistently.
Was Andrew consistent? No, Andrew had a big upset. He moved 5 to the bottom.
I never liked 5
You had a second to last 4 though.
You flipped 4 and 5, basically.
because I remember it wasn't that bad, but I like everything
What
else
hurts
better.
me is putting 4 that high.
For who?
For
You.
me. For
It's still
myself.
like the bottom half.
Yeah, I know, but it's still like
Well,
it's bad that 4 is that high.
Yeah, 4 I think is the one I look back on and I'm most frustrated by because it's like has there's going to be huge consequences these reboot thing, and then it's like by the end, no.
But at least
and
I
also they
remember 4.
evolve, and I guess
I don't want to remember 1, but I do.
Okay, and the final note, I already did the gender quiz results, so I was going to read them. So everyone open up. I'll do Daigo, Ashley do Mekomon, Asher do Ordinemon, and Andrew do Evil Jedi. So I'm going to start off reading for Daigo. Daigo's gender is murder mystery. Your gender...
That's too accurate.
Daigo's gender is dead, and foul play is suspected.
No.
But the body was found in a windowless room, and the door had been locked from the inside. What's more, the police are useless.
No. No way.
Also, you can't see, but the picture is Benedict Cumberbatch in Sherlock attire.
Did you rig this?
I entered as Daigo.
No.
Who can possibly piece together the evidence to solve the perfect crime? This looks like a case for banner click carrot flash. It's a weird Benedict Cumberbatch joke.
Okay.
Anyway, I didn't even realize that when I put that in there. Okay, so Ashley, do Mekumon.
Mekumon's gender is the inky void between stars. Their gender is the void that exists between celestial bodies. It is not completely empty, but consists of a hard vacuum containing a low density of particles, predominantly a plasma of hydrogen and helium, as well as electromagnetic radiation, magnetic fields, neutrinos, dust, and cosmic rays.
Comic rays.
Comic rays. I was like, no.
Ooh, I want to see Cosmic Sands.
Cosmic sands.
That'd be
yes.
cool. All right.
Okay,
Am
Ashley.
I Ordine?
Ashley. What gender is Ordine?
You said Ashley, and it's Asher.
You
I did not say Ashley.
Yes, you
You
did.
absolutely
You
said
100% did.
My mind said Asher.
Okay, that's great.
My
But
tongue said
you're-
Ashley.
Yeah, okay.
Technically,
That
Is
sounded
that
weird.
a normal, like a common
Yeah, is
problem
that
for you?
Is that really? Because we should reevaluate this.
Okay.
That's-
Okay. Asher, what gender is Ordine?
Your gender is under construction. Your gender is not yet finished. They're still working on it. Check back in a bit.
No, that she's definitely got
Yeah.
a gender.
yeah, but
Hey,
she's
don't gender her without her consent.
Okay.
Yeah, there was lots of evidence for physical sex. There was no evidence for
True.
gender.
Way to school me.
Yeah. Andrew, what gender is evil Jedi / mysterious man / LG Licky Jedi?
Licky Jedi.
Licky Jedi is cave. Your gender is
Okay. Go on.
your gender is a hollow place in the ground, specifically a natural underground space large enough for a human to enter.
That's his house. Oh shit.
So
Formed naturally by the weathering of rock and extends deep underground.
It's so stupid.
So I did do a bit of manipulation and foul play in that the first time I answered for Licky Jedi, I actually got the same thing as Daigo. I got murder mystery.
It's much funnier with Daigo because it's
Yeah.
creepily accurate.
But also Daigo, if he had gotten cave, also would have been really accurate.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
But I think to change evil Jedi's results, I just was more like more emphatic in my answers.
I see. You were like, Licky Jedi is a very extreme man.
Yeah.
Like,
逃げたり諦めることは誰も
Now it's time for recommendation articulation, the segment where we plug things we want to hug. And yeah, recently I've been hearing on podcasts where they start doing recommendation or plug segments, and they're like, we don't know what to call this thing. We're going to call it this weird thing this other podcast uses. And I'm like, why would you? It's just a plug segment. Like, and I was like, wait, I've called it stupid things
yeah, you
forever.
call it stupid
Anyway,
things all
Ashley,
the
what do you
time.
want to plug?
So Jeff and I were messing around looking for Vocaloid songs, and then Jeff found a non-Vocaloid version of a cool song that I don't really want to have to pronounce, but I guess I do have to. It's Asuno Yozora Shokaihan, and you should look up the Yuaru version. And I have listened to this way more than I want to admit that I've listened to.
In case you can't parse Ashley's, I don't even know if she pronounced that correctly, Japanese. There'll be links in the show notes to find it.
I'm bad at Japanese, y'all. This is the great shame of my other podcasts.
Asher.
I don't have anything. Sorry.
Asher says, do not do things. Things are bad.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah,
early in the
do not
morning
do-
for this.
It's
Do or do not
7:20 now.
there's no
So
try.
actually that's an okay time to be alive.
And technically, for me, it's now tomorrow.
It's already tomorrow. It's been tomorrow for 7 hours and 20 minutes.
You could say, Andrew, it's the edge of tomorrow.
No, it literally is tomorrow for me.
It is no
12.
longer the edge.
Yeah, Andrew, what do you want to recommend?
I'm going to recommend a light novel called Reborn as a Vending Machine. I Now Wander the Dungeon, Volume 1, which basically involves a guy and he dies, and then he's stuck as a vending machine, a sentient vending machine in another world.
That sounds incredible.
I do.
Sounds like
I need
exactly what Jeff needs to
to read that. I do
read.
need to read that.
So it's actually kind of simple. So he's a vending machine.
I mean, I think
And
we
you
got
can
it. I think we got it.
Don't.
Yeah.
It's perfect the way it was, Andrew.
Yeah, I think we're all going to try to read it now.
No,
Don't explain it. No, stop.
no.
Stop.
I will
Jeff.
say one
No,
thing,
I know-
and there
No.
are instances where a woman flirts with a vending machine.
We knew that already.
My recommendation this week, I want to recommend, usually try and recommend things that I've already completed, and I haven't for this, but I don't have anything else that I'm like super about right now, and it's a shoujo manga called We Were There that I've been reading just to keep up to date with Ashley's podcast. And I am only like 9 or 10 volumes into it, and the first 8 of 16. And the first 8 volumes, I was like, I'm really not sold on this. I've been reading a bunch of other shoujo manga, and I kind of blurred in with those in my mind. And there were other ones. Kimi no Todoke I also really love, and I was like, I want to go back to that. But the end of volume 8 is... The end really blew me away in a, like, I'm super mad at this book now. I hate it.
You also love it.
It was really masterfully done. Like, just the execution of that conclusive end to the middle of the series, to the first half of the series, is really great. And then there's a big time skip, and it's the first half. I guess, is that a spoiler? I think people might. Okay, I'm kind of spoiling. If you don't know what the time skip is, if you want to like go into it really fresh.
Stop
I don't even know what the series is.
It's interesting. If you don't want to know what it is, skip ahead 30 seconds. But if you do, it's half the series is high school, half the series is not high school. So that's interesting. To me. Like for shoujo manga to explore, like
Shoujo manga becomes josei manga.
to explore college and work life stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting. In the wise words of Nietzsche Ipsum, gains inexpedient, philosophy strong derive, ultimate aesthetic, ocean horror endless drive, convictions merciful, evil, truth, madness, Christian.
I feel like that actually is an accurate description of this movie.
It did talk about ocean horror and evil truth and madness Christians. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
if you want to know what you thought about this movie and what you thought about our discussion about the movie, let us know your thoughts at pedigious.com/T6.0. And also, we're going to be recording a second part talking about Q&A and discuss and feedback from listeners. So if you want to contribute to that, you can also send your thoughts to us, pedigious.com. You can also send your thoughts to us on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook, or email pedigious@gmail.com. Reply to our With the Will thread, or our thread on our Digimon for this episode, or people... Is there any behavior in this movie that is worth emulating to say people should do to get the feedback to us?
Jump into Tokyo Bay and
then it'll be on the news and
then we'll get your message.
Yeah.
Jump into Tokyo Bay after having a huge fever.
Yeah.
That will go over well.
Huge thanks to Rihanna, aka RW09, for our awesome Taichi X Yamato artwork we're using for Try Chapter 6, and to our prodigious Patreon supporters who help make everything we do possible. Special thanks goes out to our current champion Patramon, Diab Jomon, the infamous Tokujo on Twitter, Dizzy Dizumi, who's at Dizzy and Lost on Twitter, Joe Keto, and Sam Kuwagumon, who also has a Twitter that I cannot remember. Yeah, I'm going to leave it like that.
You're not going to say the Moncast?
Oh, yeah,
it's in the notes.
The Moncast.
Like, why aren't you reading it?
I don't know. It's late. I'm tired. Also on the Moncast, which covers Pokemon and Digimon, and Jeff is now highly interested in it because he's also started watching Pokemon.
I'm watching Pokemon in Japanese, and in the episode with Charmander/Hitokage, there is a gogglehead named Daisuke.
Yep, so there you go. Digimon Pokemon facts. Our ultimate Patramon, Emelekmon Free, we're working on that one, okay? That's a work in progress. David Grauman.
The person is not a work in progress. The
name is a work in progress. And our Mega Patramon, Andy Lusamon, and Marcus.
And if people want to follow us on social media, Ashley, where can they find you on the interwebs?
And my hot takes on Digimon Try at AshMcD00.
And Asher, if they want to hear silence from you.
They want to see that, Yamato and Taichi fist bump vlogged 5 times.
I should go put that in my queue 5 times. I'm at Asher Dashery on Tumblr.
And Andrew, where can they find you?
Nowhere.
In the Dark Ocean.
You mean the location in Infinity War and Guardians of the Galaxy?
What?
There's a place called Nowhere
Look,
spelled
some
with
of
a
us
K.
haven't seen the movie.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
It's the collector guy. The place called Nowhere.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, I did too. Andrew is being uncooperative, and he is at
You can
Drew
find
Softman.
me at something like that.
Find him in the drip.
And I am Definitely Jeff on Twitter, and the podcast is Patages on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook. everywhere except Instagram and Snapchat
I
because
should
I'm
make an Instagram. I should make a Road Prodigious Instagram.
Share the podcast with the people in your undeletable memories. And don't share the podcast with cardboard cutouts of your dear friends.
and join us next week for the second half of our Try Chapter 6 coverage. Bye.
Bye.
And remember, never stop visualizing.
無限大な夢の後の何もない世の中じゃそうせんとしい思いも負けそうになるけどステージが代名詞だらけど頼りない翼でもきっと飛べるぜ Oh yeah 無限大な夢の後のやるせない世の中じゃそうせ常識始めも悪くないからしてそんなイメージを染めたぎこちない翼でもきっと飛べるぜ Oh my love
What'd you
Okay.
guys get?
Okay. Apparently got taco stuff. It's a free comic book day, which means you have to eat Mexican food, apparently.
What?
You're apparently supposed to eat Mexican food on free comic book day. That's what I've gathered from the internet.
Really?
It's Cinco de Mayo.
Why? Oh. It's not here.
Ash was very confused because it's not the fifth.
It's not the 5th there. It is here.
In the wise words of Nietzsche, do you guys know what ipsum things are?
Yes.
Ashley knows. Well, I'll explain for the outro. Ipsum, lorem ipsum text generators are things that you just use as placeholder text on websites when you're designing websites. And there's a Nietzsche ipsum. And since Jenna quoted Jenna didn't quote ipsum. Jenna quoted Nietzsche.
He might as well have.
These lorem ipsum generators are just like random garbage texts that are like look kind of coherent until you actually read them, and it makes no sense. And that's basically what Jenna did. So that's why I picked this Nietzsche ipsum thing. So anyway.
As always, we want to thank our awesome Patreon supporters who help everything we make do pos.
That writing was more coherent than try.
Yep. I know it was.
We say bye together, right? Okay. So on 0, I'm not going to say, how do I do this? I'm not going to say 1 or 0, but say it when I would say 0. 3, 2, bye.
Bye.
I almost said 0.
I don't know what I just did.
I think Andrew like vomited into the mic.
I was like, bye.
Wait, do we need to redo that?
No. Leave
No,
it.
it's perfect the way it
Wait,
is.
no. We should say 0, 2. That doesn't make sense. Never mind.
No.
What do we say? Try. Let's say try.
Okay.
Okay.
No, let's not.
Okay. Say try at the count of 0. Okay. 3, 2, try.
Bye.
Try.
I can't do this.